There's only so much you can see between the clay and the water, but it's real, and that's the important part. There's a wood structure down there, and at that point, it becomes clear they can't stop now. Oak Island has finally revealed a clue that could change history forever. Rick and Marty Lagina, after years of relentless searching, have just made their most important discovery yet, something buried deep beneath the island's surface, something that should not be there. This time, the proof may finally be within reach. Tune in, because what they found next will leave you speechless, a discovery that changes everything. This wasn't just any random hole in the ground. Rick had a hunch about this place. It was close to an old shipyard garden, a place where people may have stashed away something valuable a long time ago. They weren't just hoping to find old coins or broken tools, they were after something bigger, maybe a hidden tunnel, maybe a secret chamber, something that could finally prove all the stories were true. Then, a cold draft whispered from the depths, something forgotten or waiting. Meanwhile, across the island, two scientists, Dr. Ian Spooner and Dr. Fred Michael, were working on their own little mystery. They had been testing the soil and water around the dig site and found something odd, strange bits of metal that shouldn't be there. These weren't just normal island rocks. These metals could mean treasure, gold, silver, or something even rarer. Nobody knew for sure, but it was enough to make them double down on this location. The air was thick with excitement as they fired up the drill. This was their last shot for the season, their final chance to break through before winter shut everything down. If they didn't find anything now, they'd have to wait months before getting another try. Everyone stood by, watching, waiting, hoping. As the drill chewed through the earth, the possibilities started swirling in their minds. What if they actually found something huge? A chest filled with gold coins? A passage leading to a hidden room? A piece of history waiting to be uncovered? It wasn't just about the money, though that would be amazing. It was about proving that all these years of digging, all the effort, had been worth it. For each of them, this search meant something different. Some were hoping to make history. Others were dreaming of financial freedom. Some just wanted to prove they were right all along. But at the end of the day, they all wanted the same thing, a real discovery, something solid they could show the world. As the day went on, they checked and double-checked their equipment. They couldn't afford mistakes now. The drill kept going, its steady hum reminding them that they were getting closer. Maybe today would be the day they finally broke through. Maybe today they would change history. Every year, Oak Island gets colder, and every year the team has to pack up and wait until spring. They've had their fair share of disappointments, drilling over and over just to come up with nothing but dirt and sand. The island has a way of keeping its secrets hidden. But this time felt different. This time, the clues were lining up, the metal in the soil, the old maps, the gut feeling that they were finally onto something. It all pointed to one thing. The drill kept turning, pushing through layers of soil that hadn't been touched for centuries. Every time they hit resistance, their hope shot up. Maybe it was wood, stone, or something man-made. The deeper they went, the more their excitement grew. Nobody wanted to leave their post, not when they were this close to an answer. When the first samples came up, the scientists rushed to examine them. They were looking for anything unusual, fragments of metal, signs of ancient construction, anything that suggested they weren't just digging into plain old dirt. Then it happened. They found something buried deep in the core sample, a dark piece of metal covered in grime but clearly out of place. It wasn't just another rock. It had been shaped, worked on. It was a sign that something valuable was buried even deeper. Word spread fast across the site. The crew gathered around, whispering theories and sharing their excitement. Could this be part of a larger structure? A chest? A hidden room sealed off centuries ago? The possibilities were endless, and nobody wanted to step away for even a second. The dig had just gotten a lot more serious. The drill team adjusted their equipment and kept going, eyes locked on the core samples as they came up one by one. Each new layer of earth held the potential for a game-changing discovery. The scientists tested each sample carefully, running their hands over every tiny piece, scanning for anything that didn't belong. They found more tiny flecks of gold in the soil, hints that they were close to something extraordinary. Then came the unexpected. As they drilled deeper, they hit something solid. The drill struggled, groaned, and finally stopped. This wasn't just more dirt and rock. This was something else entirely, a structure, a hidden vault. Nobody knew for sure, but everyone knew what had to happen next. They had to dig it out. Digging near the old shipyard garden in their last dig of the season, Rick pointed out an exciting spot. He was hopeful this could be their big breakthrough. They weren't just digging holes randomly, they were specifically searching for clues, possibly a hidden room or an underground safe. They planned to drill right there to see what they might find. Elsewhere on Oak Island, Dr. Ian Spooner and Dr. Fred Michael were busy with their own experiments. They had been finding unusual metals in the area, and they didn't think these metals were naturally occurring. They had been testing the water near the old shipyard garden and had chosen a spot for a new drill hole, which they were calling E514. They were optimistic that drilling down about 100 feet could lead them to some valuable metals. They were hopeful this could lead to discovering not only gold but other valuable treasures, too. The scientists were convinced that the metal indications they found were significant. They believed they had found the right spot where some valuable items might be hidden. With their expert knowledge and a bit of instinct, they felt this site might be very important. The whole team was buzzing with the possibility that this could be the moment they found something really special. As the drill dug deeper, their excitement grew. They knew this was their last shot for the season. If they didn't find anything now, they'd have to wait a whole year to try again. They discussed what incredible finds might be ahead. What if this spot turned out to be the breakthrough they'd been hoping for? What if they uncovered not just a few old coins or metal scraps but a significant cache that could be famous? This effort was about more than just finding treasure, it was about proving that their hard work and years of effort were worth it. And the best was yet to come. They aimed to drill down 50 to 60 feet, where they could then start drilling sideways and vertically. They hoped to find a tunnel connected to this shaft, supported by some of their most promising water sample tests, which had shown signs of gold and silver. The continuous sound of the drill was a reminder that they were close to uncovering something big. They watched, waited, and hoped that this last drill of the season would reveal the long-hidden treasures of Oak Island. Discoveries. They'll meet again, lay out all their information, theories, and maps, and discuss the possibilities with enthusiasm. The lack of discoveries is disappointing, but the odd findings keep them hopeful and ready to continue the constant cycle of hope versus the reality of finding nothing. Doesn't it get tiring? As they finish another tough season, they think about the small clues that keep them coming back, hoping the next drill will finally pay off, chasing dreams in the money pit. After numerous attempts and endless speculation, the treasure, if it even exists, still seems like just an imagination. They find unusual things in the soil and water and see patterns that might suggest something more, but these are often just natural things any land would show under such close examination. Yet, they keep digging, driven by the excitement of the hunt, the bond among the team members, and maybe a bit of greed. Year after year, they return to the island, driven by stories of what might be hidden there. The money pit, that famous spot on the island, is their ultimate goal. It's the heart of their quest, the thing that keeps their dreams alive. Their quest isn't just about finding treasure, it's about the thrill of the search, the discoveries they make, and the hope that maybe this time, they might actually find something big. As the Oak Island team wraps up their season, there's a familiar vibe of going through the motions. They've been in this situation before, packing up their gear, jotting down their last notes, and turning off the drills, feeling like they've done all this many times. Despite hitting similar roadblocks, revisiting familiar hints, and repeating promises to do better next year, their optimism doesn't waver. They're already planning their return, filled with ideas about what to try next and discussions on what might have gone wrong this time around. This year's digging efforts at Oak Island ended in disappointment again. The crew was buzzing with excitement over finding some old metal containers in a spot they called the garden shaft. They had ambitious plans to drill sideways after digging down to 95 feet, but before they knew it, the area was swamped with water. It seems like every time they get their hopes up, the result is the same: more mud and water but no treasure. But that's not the end of it. The initial excitement was spurred by unusual readings indicating metal deep beneath the surface. Fred, one of the diggers, was pretty confident that these readings were a hint of something big hidden below. Yet, after targeting a section known as the baby blob, they ended up with nothing to show but more water. But they're not giving up hope. The plan now is to keep digging around the northeastern part, between this spot and the garden shaft, hoping fresh data might lead to a breakthrough. Aside from this, the team is also making quite a fuss about finding traces in 3 other locations near what's famously called the Money Pit area. One of these places, dubbed Aladdin's Cave, is essentially a big water-filled hole that seems to contain tiny bits of precious metals and some old wood. The way they get worked up over some wooden fragments floating in the water is almost odd. They treat these small finds as if they've discovered great artifacts, which really shows how desperate they are to find anything significant. This season seemed more focused on building up hype about what might be found rather than the actual findings themselves. Every dig seems to leave them with more unanswered questions and dwindling credibility. The real draw of Oak Island appears to be its ability to keep treasure hunters coming back, driven more by the thrill of potential finds than by actual discoveries. This group of treasure seekers is incredibly persistent, continuing to chase their dream of striking it rich, though they usually find nothing but stones and water. The legends and tales about Oak Island also add a layer of excitement. Stories about pirates, ancient artifacts, and lost fortunes are thrilling enough to keep anyone interested. But when all is said and done, it's these stories that are the true gems of Oak Island. They attract TV shows, curious tourists, and eager diggers, all drawn by the chance of uncovering something big. Yet, the actual digging process often just leads to more dead ends. With each bit of earth they dig up, the team's excitement grows, hoping the small finds mean they're close to a major discovery. More incredible hints, no treasure. As they continue to excavate from one site to another, following every minor hint, it's a cycle of buildup and disappointment. The whole operation, with its massive machines and dramatic drilling, can look pretty impressive to someone watching from the sidelines. It's easy to get swept up in the drama and the occasional significant finds that usually turn out to be pretty mundane. At the end of each season, they wrap up with grand summaries of their findings, trying to make even the smallest discoveries sound important. Despite yet another dig not turning up much, hints of old artifacts and wooden beams suggest they might be getting closer to discovering something real about the island's history. Excitement was high over at Borehole RF1 back in 2019 when the team unearthed some large wooden beams with ancient carvings and a pickaxe that some thought might have Scandinavian origins. While these finds sound like they could be significant historical pieces, they could have been made that way many, many years ago, all the way back to the Middle Ages. It's hard not to see them as just adding a bit more intrigue to a story already full of more excitement than solid facts. Back in 2017, the Oak Island team dug up a spot called Borehole H8. They thought they had found something really important, parts of what's called the chapel vault, way down at nearly 180 feet underground. When they unearthed bits of parchment and what seemed to be parts of a leather book cover, everyone got really excited. Each discovery like this sends a wave of enthusiasm about what might be hidden further down, but mostly, it's all about the potential rather than actual finds. Every season, these discoveries get everyone's hopes up, suggesting they might be the key to a big breakthrough. However, despite all the excitement and self-congratulations, the tangible results are pretty slim. They keep digging and finding little bits and pieces that might mean something big, but often they don't. This whole treasure hunt started with 2 brothers from Michigan who dreamed of finding hidden treasures since they were kids. Years later, their childhood adventures have turned into a massive operation, with heavy machinery, big teams, and cameras rolling all the time. Every new piece of wood or metal they find reignites discussions about the valuable things that could be beneath. The idea that there might be gold, ancient artifacts, or some historically significant objects down there keeps everyone on edge. As the team digs deeper, each new layer of earth seems to promise something big, yet the real breakthrough always seems just out of reach. And there's more. The operations on Oak Island are as much about creating a show and telling a story as they are about hunting for treasure. Each season ends with a cliffhanger, hinting that maybe, just maybe, the next year will be the year they find something groundbreaking. Perhaps the real value of Oak Island isn't in any buried treasure. The island itself, filled with layers of dirt that hold random historical artifacts, seems to be a treasure trove of never-ending tales. These stories attract viewers every season, keeping the legend of the island alive. It's the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of the what if that keeps this adventure going. Today, Oak Island is like a stage for modern treasure hunters, armed with the latest technology, all trying to turn old legends into reality. The team dynamic, the camaraderie, shared dreams, and the collective drive to keep going is a fascinating story on its own. They're not just digging for treasure, they're digging for answers, trying to finish a story that started long before they got there. Every small find, no matter how insignificant, fuels the hope that keeps them going, much like the dreams of those two young boys from Michigan who once imagined finding buried treasures. As each season wraps up, the island still holds onto its hidden tales tightly. The real treasure of Oak Island might actually be its ability to keep dreams alive, drawing people back season after season with shovels in hand and hope in their hearts, chasing what might just be an elaborately crafted tale passed down through generations. Oak Island is more than a place of historical treasure hunts, it is a place where the quest itself is the treasure, and the narrative never really ends. It just keeps adding more layers, more excitement. This cycle of hope and slight discoveries keeps everyone coming back, clinging to the belief that next time, they might just uncover something truly spectacular. Could the treasure on Oak Island truly be of unimaginable value, or is there a deeper, possibly supernatural element at play here? What do you think? Drop your theories in the comments below and don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more thrilling treasure hunts.